history, innovation, ingenuity, family fun, weird, wacky, and wonderful. The Lane Motor Museum. In October of 2003, the Lane Motor Museum opened its doors to display an initial collection of over 80 rare and historic vehicles. The museum's mission is to collect, preserve, and document a largely European collection of cars and motorcycles. Today, with approximately 150 vehicles on display and many more in storage, the Lane Motor Museum has the largest European collection in the United States.
Lane Motor Museum really presents a great variety of experiences for the visitor. For the visitor who may not know what to expect, generally the first words out of their mouth when they come through the lobby is, wow. I like to think that even without realizing it, that you might absorb a bit of history, geopolitics, economics. I mean, the reason for these cars, every single car here has its own story. Why did it come to existence? And if people can take the time to read the display signage, they'll learn a great deal about all those aspects. But even on just a very surface experience, it's almost just like walking through a sculpture gallery. So I think anybody can appreciate what we have here, just they appreciate it at different levels.
Museum founder Jeff Lane grew up in the rural town of Romeo, Michigan, about 45 minutes from the U.S. auto capital of Detroit. Jeff was raised in the car business. His grandfather, Wilbur C. Lane, owned a Ford dealership in Michigan from 1936 to 1954. His father, Gene Lane, owned an auto supply business that still operates today.
Well, the collection kind of started from a long time ago. My dad was a big car enthusiast, and as kids, we always had MGs that we were working on, that we drove to different meets around the country, and it really just evolved from there over the years. Well, when I was about 10, my dad bought an MG that he wanted to restore. I did a lot of work on it because, of course, he worked full-time, and in the summer, we had a shop, and I would just stay out there and kind of work on it. When I turned 12, he asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and not thinking about it, I said, well, I'd like an MG of my own, which actually he gave to me for Christmas in pieces in the back of a pickup truck. And I spent the next 4 years putting that car together, then took my driver's training test in it actually in the little town that I grew up in, and it's here at the museum today.
In 2002, Jeff Lane began a nonprofit foundation that formed the Lane Motor Museum. The donation of his personal collection, along with the purchase and renovation of the Sunbeam Bakery building, began the museum that stands today.
I think the unique thing about the museum is people come in and they say, you know, there's 130 cars here about, and I've only seen 3 of them. So there's a lot of cars that they've never seen. But I think the point that we want them to kind of learn is that here's 130 ways to do one thing, which was to move people around.
The museum found the perfect location in the former Sunbeam Bread Bakery, built in 1951. The building offered 132,000 square feet of space and architectural details that would later complement the collection. A high ceiling, natural light, and original brick and maple wood flooring. But converting the building from a bakery to a car museum wasn't an easy process.
My first impression walking through the door was, how are we going to get rid of all this junk? Sunbeam had left the thousands of machine parts, old fan motors, pumps, boxes, fruitcake labels, boxes and boxes of things that hadn't been used since the early 1980s, stacked almost to the ceiling. The building itself needed quite a bit of work. It had been left derelict for close to 10 years. The roof was caving in some places. The floors were buckling in other places. The renovation process took us about a year. The process included us doing a lot of our own demolition work. Family members would come to help. At the same time, we were in negotiations with architects and contractors, interviewing people to try to find someone that could maintain the flavor of the building and still bring it up to the required codes that we would have to open.
In 2007, Nashville's Metropolitan Historical Commission recognized the quality of the building restoration by awarding the Lane Motor Museum an Architectural Preservation Award.
It's a great sense of accomplishment, seeing what was here and what's here now. And we're very glad to be able to preserve an old building and retask it to a new use that people enjoy.
The Lane Motor Museum represents more than a collection of unique automobiles. An important part of the museum mission is vehicle preservation. Efforts are made to restore each vehicle to near original specifications. To do this, the museum employs a small staff to handle the maintenance, repairs, and mechanical restoration of the collection. Walking through the museum, you may notice that while many cars are found in showroom condition, others show signs of typical aging. In a few cases, when a vehicle is no longer available, the museum will create a replica for display. Some projects are done in the museum shop and some happen abroad. When possible, the original manufacturer is contacted to obtain blueprints and permission to recreate the vehicle. But since some were made in small quantities, many parts are no longer available. The museum machine shop allows for the creation of some custom parts based on old photographs and drawings.
I think a lot of times people come to the collection and they say, these are really different, unique cars, and a lot of them are from Europe, they're from Czechoslovakia or other places, you know, how do you work on them? And we really take the attitude a car is a car, and if you look at it and know the basics, you can figure out how it works, you can figure out how to restore it, you can figure out how to take it apart, you can figure out how to repair it.
As you tour the museum, you may notice that the majority of the collection is grouped by country. Flags hang from the ceiling to indicate their locations. Each car has a display sign that tells its technical specifications and historical significance. Special sections highlight competition cars, motorcycles, and microcars. Oversized and military vehicles can be seen in the indoor parking garage, and the 100-ton amphibious Lark is behind the museum, but can also be viewed from the motorcycle exhibit. In order to allow our visitors a full access view inside the cars, the museum is largely barrier-free. We only ask that you respect the no-touching rules so that we may preserve the cars for future generations. You may occasionally notice an empty spot where a car should be displayed. It may be in the shop for repairs, away at a car show, or being driven to exercise the car. Yes, virtually every car in the museum runs. While touring the collection, don't overlook our art gallery. It features over 100 posters and advertisements of cars represented in the collection. A raised platform offers a play area for our younger guests, with cars to ride in, toy towns to construct, and coloring projects. To the right of the kids area is a concession bar. Food and drinks are not allowed on the exhibit floor, but may be enjoyed in this area, where cold drinks and snacks are available for purchase. If you're looking for unique items, our gift shop offers a wide assortment of models, clothing, toys, books, postcards, and more. And before you leave, please don't forget to sign our guest book. Leave your email address if you'd like to stay updated by receiving our monthly e-newsletter. Visit online anytime at www.lanemotormuseum.org. On behalf of everyone at the Lane Motor Museum, thanks for taking time out of your day to visit our collection. We hope you'll enjoy your visit and that it will be the first of many.